Fun fact, I actually have two cats in my bed as I'm recording this video, so should be interesting. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome if you are new here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Vix Aurora. I'm a variety streamer over on Twitch, but today's video is going to be something very different from what I've done in the past. Most of you guys who know me know that I mostly post edited VODs from my Twitch page over to my YouTube channel. But today I'm pre-recording a video. I'm sitting down, I'm talking to the camera. There's no chat talking back to me, just you guys in the comments. And I'm excited for this video because we're going to be talking about the new Dragon Age game, specifically the article that just came out by Game Informer. For those of you who haven't read it and want to, I'm going to leave links below in the description, as well as my Twitch channel or my Discord. That's available for you guys as well. We have a Dragon Age channel, including a Veilguard spoilers thread in there. So if you want to join in the community and talk about all things Dragon Age, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm also streaming the Dragon Age series over on my Twitch channel, so definitely come check that out if you're interested and want to see me live playing that. Like I said, we're talking about the article that came out recently. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, my opinions, my theories, all things related to the new game. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am. This is going to be kind of a longer video, so grab a snack, grab a drink, whatever. Get cozy, because I've got a lot of opinions, as you guys can tell, and you guys will have to let me know your opinions down in the comments below. But let's just go ahead and get right into the video, shall we? Alright, so the first point I really want to get into is the character creator. I don't want to go too in-depth just because we haven't gotten the full reveal. Something tells me we are going to get one in the near future, but I don't want to dive too deep into that just yet until we get that full reveal. With that being said, there was mention of the character creator, so I do still want to talk about it a little bit. There's going to be tons of face, body, even bulge slider options, which I know some of you will go crazy over. There's also going to be gender pronouns, identities, which is an amazing thing. I'm so happy that they are including that in this game, finally. And there's gonna be longer hairs, which I have seen them talking about, which makes me very excited because I like longer hair options. I usually download mods in order to get that, but I'm hoping that there are some really good ones that come in this character creator, so I'm really excited to see some of that. So with all these slider options, it means that each and every player is going to have the ability to create an entirely unique rook to their playthrough, which is amazing. No two rooks will be the exact same, and it's something that I am really going to enjoy because it means falling in love with somebody new each time I play the game. There's also going to be different lighting options as well. As we know in the Dragon Age Inquisition character creator specifically, it was not the best lighting, and anytime a character would leave the Chantry dungeon where their character was being held meant the walk of shame sometimes because our character didn't quite live up to what we had envisioned for them. And I know there was a Black Emporium to change their looks in the game, and we got access to it pretty early on, but still, it would be nice to just be able to walk out of the game, not have to worry about what our character looks like, which I am very, very pleased that they did that. I cannot thank the devs enough. Thank you so, so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. There have been times where I've had an Inquisitor walk out, and it's a tragedy. Now, another really exciting thing is the factions. You get to choose your rook to be part of one of the 6 factions in Thedas. 2 of them we're already very familiar with. We are very familiar with the Grey Wardens, especially if you played Origins, as well as the Antivan Crows if you recruited Zevran Aranai in Dragon Age Origins and had him as a part of your party. So we're going to be learning more about these factions, I'm sure, as the weeks persist on. There may be some about them in the books that I haven't quite read yet, so I'm not educated enough to speak on them, just mostly what I know from the games, the Antivan Crows, and the Grey Wardens. For my character, I'm leaning towards being an Antivan Crow, and I've talked about this on stream, so I will be very excited to see what it's actually like to be a crow and not just hear about it. But you guys will have to let me know which faction you're most interested in. I'm curious. So these factions are going to be very important for your Rook, as they will determine certain dialogue options, maybe even certain events that occur, and certain relationships with your companions, depending on which faction you choose. So do choose carefully when you are picking your faction. Now, after those events unfold, we are going to be going to the lair of the Dreadwolf himself, apparently. We're going to be entering what's called the Lighthouse. That's going to be our main hub, where we regroup between missions and where we get to know our characters. And apparently it's a lot like Skyhold, as it's going to grow as we complete quests for, I guess, the main storyline. It's going to be where we talk with our companions, chill out, even do a little bit of flirting, which I am very excited about. I think that's the thing I'm most excited about this new game is who am I going to end up romancing? I've got a few ideas already, but all the companions are gorgeous, and I'm sure their personalities are just mwah. But apparently Solas was alone during most of his time in the lighthouse. Apparently there's this massive dining table and there's only like one set of silverware and drinking chalice, goblet, whatever you want to call it, which makes me very, very sad for Solas. For those of you who know me, I'm a big Solas lover. He's a character you either love or hate. Me personally, I love him, but we're not going to get into that right now. But it just shows that even though he had a network of sorts of elves trying to help him, he still spent a lot of his time alone and painting his frescoes that we saw in one of the original reveal trailers for when the game was called Dreadwolf. Um, we know that Solas really loves doing his fresco paintings, and I'm sure that they will tell a story in and of themselves, similar to Skyhold's frescoes. And I'm kind of curious to see if he's going to be adding on to his frescoes as the main quest goes on, like he does in Skyhold, or if these frescoes are just ones that he did during the 10 years that it took from Trespasser to now. So I'm very curious. I will be analyzing them, just so we're all aware. I will be analyzing them. But his frescoes are really beautiful. They did such a wonderful job, the artists who worked on those frescoes in Inquisition, so I'm excited to see what they come up with in the Veilguard. Now, apparently, the library is going to be kind of the heart of the lighthouse. It's apparently where most of the companions are going to hang out. I was kind of expecting more like Skyhold, where they would each have their own areas, maybe in the lighthouse. Maybe it was like this big place. But it seems to be that the library is really the place to be. Don't know why it would be the library, but maybe it's a cozy place with all the good vibes. So who knows? Maybe I'll want to hang out there with a book and just chill out in between missions. All right, now it should be no surprise that Solas has access to the Illuvians. He basically said as much at the end of Trespasser. So that is how we're going to be traveling from place to place, is from what my understanding. At least we do use the Illuvians to travel to the Arlathan forest, which makes me actually very curious to see if the Skyhold Illuvian is still up and running and if we'll see Skyhold at all. I mean, I'm sure that the Inquisition is no longer present there because Solas knows that the Inquisition used that place for a long time, and I think he would have spies checking in there from time to time. But I would be curious to go back to Skyhold 10 years later and just see what's happened there, if anything has happened. And I don't know, I kind of miss Skyhold. But on that note, we go from the lighthouse to the Arlathan forest, and we meet one of our companions, Balara, is I believe how you pronounce her name. She is actually a mage, and she's kind of an interesting character because versus Nev, who's an ice mage, she is an electricity mage, which makes me think that elements are done differently with mages than how they were done previously, where you could dip into each certain element and just kind of mix and match, whereas now it seems that mages kind of focus more on one element versus another, and if our mages, if we choose to play mage, will do the same. Like, I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, especially when looking at the specializations for the mage tree, but we'll get into the specializations later on in the video. Anyways, Bellara is kind of interesting because as a mage, she also uses a bow. We've seen concept art images of this, but now that we know that it's her, I'm kind of curious to see how exactly her magic works. She also looks like she uses a prosthetic arm of sorts. So I will be very curious to learn more about Bellara. Now, on top of meeting Bellara, we meet two NPCs as well who have made appearances in the literary medias of Dragon Age rather than the games, Strife and Ireland. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that second name correctly, but both were featured in To Venture Nights as well as the Missing Comics, which I've yet to finish. So I will get caught up on that quickly, apparently. Um, but they are known characters if you've read both of those pieces of literature, and I will be excited to see their appearance in game. We kind of have a description from the books and the comics, but I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to look in game, and it'll be nice to have cameos from characters from the literature. Which I believe some of the companions are from To Venture Nights as well. So, To Venture Nights, if you have not read To Venture Nights yet, I definitely would recommend it before the release. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it will help to understand a little bit more of these characters that will be appearing in the game. Now, going back to talking about Balara, she's a veil jumper, so if your character happens to be a veil jumper, you guys will have special dialogue together. And she's the first recruitable companion. The other two, Lace Harding, Scout Lace Harding, and Nev, are going to be automatically joining the party no matter what happens in the prologue. But she's the first recruitable companion, and apparently her story, the way that the article talks about it and the quotes that they use makes me really think that her story is integral to the overarching story of the game. So I'm going to be very curious about her. Apparently, she's bubbly and very sweet, and she also has an interest in elven artifacts. So I will be curious to learn more about Palara, and hopefully she does not betray us, because mages have a tendency to do that in these games for whatever reason. Especially ones who are interested in elven artifacts. I'm looking at you, Solus. I'm looking right at you, Solus. Just imagine that. I'm looking at Solus. I'm talking about him. Anyways, moving on to combat. It's going to work a little bit differently in this game, but don't worry, pause and play is still going to be present in these games, which is what I was nervous about when I heard that they were changing up the combat, but rest assured, we are going to be seeing that again. We already saw a little bit of combat from the gameplay reveal trailer. We know that there are still going to be the 3 main classes, 3 specializations, and the specialization tree looks a little bit different versus Inquisition, where it was pretty straightforward. You had all different routes that you could take with your build. It's going to be similar in that fashion, but I won't lie. I'm going to try and put an image right here of what it looks like, but I'm not going to lie. The specialization tree leaves me a little bit confused, and when I was talking on stream earlier, I was not the only one who felt that way. So I'm sure that there were going to be some passives, some main fighty type of things that you can pick up. You're going to be bringing 2 companions with you, and apparently there are certain combo attacks that you can do along with your companions and can really strategize. So I'm gonna be curious to see what the combat looks like. I think it's going to be different than anything that we've ever seen. Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition were the most similar, I feel like, so this is definitely branching away. And if I remember correctly, we can't control our companions anymore, which I'm personally fine with. Other people may have different opinions, especially those who play in harder modes mostly. But for me personally, I'm okay with not controlling my companions as much. I never really liked that to begin with. It just wasn't really my play style. As long as I can hit pause, I think I'm good. The only advantage to doing that was if my character was down, I could play as another character and still win the fight. That's the biggest loss, is what I'm saying. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I kind of hope that there are some tutorials about that specialization tree. That makes me a little bit nervous. It's probably easier than what I'm imagining in my head. It's probably pretty straightforward. I'm a little confused just looking at the images, but once we see a little bit more about the gameplay and how it actually works, I really hope that they do a dedicated video on the combat mechanics itself, just so we have a little bit of a better idea of what that's going to look like going into the game. I will be plenty happy with that, but even if it's just a tutorial at the beginning of the game, I'm sure I will pick it up at some point in the game itself. Hopefully earlier on than later. But knowing me, I'm gonna do the first playthrough as like a casual playthrough, just introducing myself to the game, rather than going hardcore first thing, because I'm here for the story mostly. The combat is a fun little bonus, but I'm here for the characters, I'm here for the story, I'm here for the romance. That's sort of my position on the gameplay itself. But combat, I'm sure it's gonna be fun no matter what happens. So I'm not too worried about it. I know other people might be, but me personally, I'm okay. I'll survive. Whatever happens, I'm gonna enjoy the game no matter what. That's the main goal. And going back to the whole companion situation where there's two companions, there's also a combo wheel that you can use to, I guess, strike different combinations at enemies and sort of use that to help strategize for different enemies and see, what works and what doesn't, and so on and so forth. And it'll be really interesting. I'm guessing the companions will kind of all team up. Either all it's like one hit with all the companions, or just maybe using one companion and doing sort of a combination with that companion, and then maybe doing a different combination with a different companion. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how that plays out as well. All right, so finishing thoughts in terms of the article, I'm surprised at how much they gave away, if I'm being perfectly honest. I loved hearing about the story, and I'm sure that them revealing this much just goes to show how much more that there is in store for us, how many twists and turns there are going to be along the way, and how many surprises are going to pop up. I'm really, really excited to play this game. I'm really, really excited to see where exactly the story goes. Still waiting to see what gameplay has in store for us, but all in all, I really enjoyed reading this article, and it makes me want to catch up on all the books and things that I have yet to read. So I've got some homework in front of me. You guys will have to let me know your thoughts, especially if you read the books and the comics and maybe have a little bit of a better idea than I do. And maybe I'll change my opinion once I've read them. But anyways, I thank you guys so much for listening to me talk about Dragon Age. I love talking about Dragon Age, if you couldn't tell. So if you want to join me in my Dragon Age adventure, then links are down below, and I will leave you guys off with that. So yeah, I'm not really sure how to end this video, but anyways, if you want to subscribe, please do. It really helps the channel out and also helps me out. And if you guys are here for the Dragon Age content, if you guys want to see something in specific, let me know. If you guys want to hear my thoughts about anything, type it out in the comments, and I will probably be making more videos like this in the future as I gain more knowledge about the lore and everything building up to this game. wherever you guys are in the world. I hope you have an amazing morning, evening, night, and I will see you all in the very next video. Take care. Bye.